Dear 8th class students, welcome to the new academic session 2021. As you all know me very well, I am Rima ma'am. Today I am here to teach you English literature. Today we start the poem with Where the Minds Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore. The main meaning of the title is True Freedom. Now let me tell you about the poet that Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861, one of the greatest poets of India, born in Calcutta, which is now known as Kolkata. He started writing poems in Bengali. His mystic poems so impressed W.B. Yeats, a great collection. W.B. Yeats, a great English poet, that he wrote introduction to his collections of poems translated into English named Gitanjali. It was this book which brought him the Nobel Prize for the literature. Now, let me tell you about the poem. The poet visualized a heaven of true freedom, freedom from all the fears and prejudice. In fact, he wants his countrymen to be self-respecting, knowledgeable, and holding their heads high. He prays for a world where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. About the poem now. Let me tell you about the poem. Where the Mind is Without Fear is one of the Tagore's famous poems. It shows what kind of India he visualized. It is, in fact, a prayer to God to usher us in true freedom for Indians. True freedom is neither totally political nor totally economic. It is the freedom from all kinds of fears and prejudice. In the poem, Tagore envisages a kind of world in which all would be free from all sort of fears. They would have self-respect and would walk with their heads erect. They would have no inferiority complex. They would have free access to knowledge. They would not get divided on the narrow considerations of caste and creed. They would not be bogged down by the outdated customs, traditions, and rituals. They will speak what they feel. They will be forward-looking. The poet prays to God to lead them into ever-growing sphere of an action and thought. In such a world, they would be lead fruitful lives. What the poet prays for is applicable to all the people in the world. Thus, the poet expresses not specific but universal ideas. Now, in the poem, we have a theme. Where the mind without fear brings home many ideas to create a heaven of true freedom. These ideas constitute thematic concerns. Now, the theme has divided into 4 parts, that is freedom for the fears and prejudices, plea for unity, truthful and rational conduct, balance between action and thought. Now, the first point, freedom from fears and prejudice. The poet does not seem to consider political or economic freedom as real freedom. He makes it clear in this poem that the true freedom implies freedom to speak the truth. It's freedom from all the prejudice and ideological restraints. Second point, plea for unity. The poem highlights the idea of national unity. If people are divided on the basis of narrow considerations of caste, color, creed, reason, and religion, they cannot enjoy real freedom. If they are not united, they cannot rise and progress as a nation. Third one, truthful and rational conduct. It is clear that the poet wants his countrymen to be truthful, sincere, hardworking, and logical. That is why he says, where the words come out from the depth of the truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear streams of reason has not lost its way, into the dreary desert, send of dead habits. It is clear that the poet wants us not to be bogged down by the dead customs and traditions, which he likened to worthless dead words. And the last, balance between action and thought. The poet does not believe only in the idle thinking or rash action. He wants his countrymen to be both thoughtful and action oriented. They should welcome new thoughts and able to put them into the practice. Now over here, I just want to say that to put the new actions into thought means you can dream a new world, and that dream should not be only the dream, but you have to put into the reality. If you really want to progress for your country, you have to do lot of hard work, and then only you will enjoy the fruits of freedom. Now, children, many of you must not be having the book, so I have given the lines of the poems on this PPT. You can go through this, go through this poem, and you can go through this line according to the lines. According to the lines, I have done the translation of the poem. Before translation of the poem, I'll give you the gist, or you can say the summary of the poem. Now, Where the Mind Without Fear is a pre-independent poem in which the poet sincerely urged to God to awake his fellow beings for the realization that the essential needs to live in a free and united country. He wants his countrymen to awake and enjoy the life of full dignity and honor. His countrymen would not be superstitious or believers of blind faith. Rather than they would lead the life of enlightened and educated. He wishes to the people to be honest, open-minded, and industrious. Then only they will stretch their arms towards the perfection, and the nation can actually achieve the apex of success. Now let's go with the translation according to the line. Now I'll give you the translation of first 4 lines. Over here, the poet says, the poet prays to the God that his fellow countrymen be fearless and self-respecting. They should pursue knowledge freely. They should not be divided into groups and sections because of narrow considerations of caste and religion. They should be broad-minded and secular. Now we come to the line numbers 5 to 8. The poet hopes his countrymen should be truthful and sincere. They should not tell lies or be hypocritical. They should speak what they feel. They should be rational and progressive. They should do their best to achieve excellence in every field. As I told you, no work is very small or big. But what work you do, whatever you want to achieve, it should be in a very sincere manner and in excellent manner. They should not let outdated customs and traditions guide them. They should be guided by the clear thinking in every matter. So, your thoughts should be very clear in whatever you do. Now come to the line numbers 9 to 12. That is the conclusion of the poem. The poet prays to God to lead his countrymen into ever-growing spheres of action and thought. He wants them to welcome new thoughts and put them into practice. The whole country, the poet prays to the God, may turn into heaven of total freedom for his countrymen. Now children, this poem was written by Rabindranath Tagore, you know very well, and this poem was written during the time when Indians were under the Britishers. So Rabindranath Tagore wanted to pray to the God and want a total freedom for his country from the Britishers. Now children, when we are doing the poems or we are learning the poems, we have a literary style in the poem. Now literary styles are different kinds of literary styles, but in this poem we have 5 kinds of literary styles, and this literary style is known as figure of speech also. You must have studied in the 7th class, or you are going to study in the 8th class also. So let me give you all those literary styles which are present in the poem. In country tone, forms, imaginary, metaphor, language. Before concluding my poem, the poem is a mixture of abstract and concrete words. The poet has used simple and exact words to convey his ideas. Even the imaginary use is not far-fetched. What is remarkable is the way a single sentence is used in an inverted form. So, once again, I give you a little significance of the title. The title of the poem, Where Minds Without Fear, is appropriate. It has been taken from the opening lines of the poem. The thought of mind without fear is the central idea that defines the poem. In the heaven of freedom, as envisaged by the poet, people need to be free from all the prejudice, false beliefs, customs, and superstitions. Freedom from fear is an identity of truly free and progressive people. I hope, children, you must have liked this poem. Thank you.